Cricket is my passion and I cannot avoid it. Hello and good evening to all the beautiful people around the world. This World Cup is one of the toughest and the tightest World Cup. With just 3 days left to get the last games, we still have only one semi-finalist, that is New Zealand. And to discuss about the next three semi-finals, I have the champion player, Shane Watson, on my show. Welcome again, Shane.
It's a pleasure, as always, to be on your show.
Shane, I can see you've just got back to your hotel room after that tantalizing victory over Afghanistan. I can see some smile at least at the moment.
Well, at the moment, yeah, because the Australians aren't knocked out yet. They still live to fight another day, waiting on the game tomorrow night with Sri Lanka and England. So it's still, gosh, I'm still not confident, even if Australia do make it to the semi-finals, because they're certainly not playing incredible cricket like they did. They found their feet in Dubai in the UAE during that last T20 World Cup. This time they just haven't really clicked as a unit yet with bat, ball, and also on the field. So even if Australia do make it through to the semis, if Sri Lanka are able to get up and the results do fall Australia's way, then they're going to have to step their games up by quite a lot and bring it together as a team as well, because just the whole tournament, apart from a few glimpses here and there that we've seen, like with Marcus Stoinis especially, the Australia just lacked that real impotence to be able to really grab a game and just direct it in their direction.
Fair point. We've seen Australia has not played the A game so far, barring Marcus Stoinis, and to some extent today, the Maxi coming off all, and he made the big difference with the run out.
Oh yeah, that was an amazing piece of work. But Glenn Maxwell, that's what he does, because he gets himself into those hot spots all the time. He is following the ball to make sure that he's in the spot where he can make a difference. And he's just so well balanced. As actually in the commentary box with Adam Gilchrist in between stints, and he just mentioned about Glenn Maxwell, just so many of his mannerisms, how his hands, how he picks up the ball, his throws, just his body positions that he gets into are very much like Ricky Ponting when he was in his prime, when he's fielding out around the ring. And that's the difference that he can make. And that's why Glenn Maxwell is such a match winner. And in the field, he creates opportunities because he really wants to make his mark. But then tonight, the thing that I loved about his batting tonight is it was lower risk. He wasn't just from ball one or ball two playing those switch hits and reverse sweeps, because Glenn Maxwell is such a skilled batter. He can stand still and hit the ball wherever the bowler bowls it. He doesn't have to premeditate and just only hit a reverse sweep or a switch hit to the offside of him batting. And tonight he only did that a couple of times, more as a tactical option instead of being the default that he goes to when he feels like under pressure and he needs to score. So, and he got 54 off 32 balls, which is fast going, and it was at much lower risk. So Glenn Maxwell, that's what I saw when I played with him. 2015 had an amazing one-day World Cup, and he only played the switch hit and the reverse sweep occasionally tactically. The rest of the times, he just manipulated the field because he's that good to stand still and wait for the bowler to make an error. And when he does that, he's going to be more consistent. He is a match winner because he takes wickets. He's a gun fielder, and he can take a game away from opposition with the bat as well. So that was an outstanding performance from Glenn Maxwell tonight.
Spot on, Watto. I mean, what we saw from Maxi is that's why it's called the Big Show.
Yeah, he certainly stood up, and the Australians needed him too, because the Aussies got off to a good start. Dave Warner's batting very nicely until, I know he's a very skilled right-handed batsman, and and I've seen it a number of times in the nets. But that was an interesting option. That was an interesting option. It's a good ball to a right-hander anyway. I probably would have got a right-hander out with the ball that came like an off-cutter that really grabbed off the surface and came back. But and Mitchell Marsh played a really good innings, a fiery innings, but Glenn Maxwell certainly was the one that held it together to give the Aussies a chance to post a decent total. It wasn't exactly as many as they would have wanted, but it won them the game.
All right. So we talk about tomorrow's game, England versus Sri Lanka. What advice would you give Sri Lanka? How do they knock over England?
Well, for me, Sri Lanka's batters need to really fire. Their bowlers in the Sydney wicket, which has definitely been a bit drier. There's no question. Even that last game, Pakistan and South Africa, you'd see the ball turning a bit, even when with the weather around, and the fast bowlers were bowling their cutters and they were gripping as well. So Sri Lanka's bowling, they'll do really well there, but their batters against a quality attack of India, of England with their fast bowlers, it's going to be pretty challenging for them. So for me, Rajapaksa, if he can take off, because he's got some serious firepower. If he can really lift off tomorrow, well, he'll have all the Aussies behind him as well to be able to help him lift off. So he's one of the really big match winners where we've seen when he comes off, goodness me, he can just take a game away from the opposition, and he's got all the shots against the world-class bowling that England have to be able to really take them on. So I'm hoping he has a big game for the batting to give Sri Lanka either a chance to be able to chase down a big total or a chance to be able to post a big total. So he's the Aussies man from a batting perspective.
You think they will be switched on tomorrow now that they are knocked off?
I hope so. Any time you get a chance to play for your country, it's a World Cup. They're going to really like the conditions and in Sydney as well, because they're a little bit drier compared to the conditions that they've played, especially the games they played in Perth. That was extreme. Bounce balls, like inconsistent bounce up as well, pace, seam movement as well. Like that's as far as it gets for Sri Lankan players in general. So Sydney is definitely going to be they're going to be a bit more accustomed to it. So that's certainly a chance. And you've always got so much to play for. And Sri Lanka certainly do, to be able to make their mark and hopefully spoil the Englishman's party.
I'm going to make sure this message goes to Rajapaksa. He's a dear friend of mine. So this is a message from Watto. You're the guy all the Australians are voting for.
Yep, certainly are. He can just, the rest of the Sri Lankan batters can bat around him because he is the man. He's got serious game when he's on. So we all hope he brings it tomorrow night.
Hopefully, and we also hope so, Watto. Now I have to ask about the India-Bangladesh game. So much of drama, and you were doing commentary for the game, up and down. I want to ask you two things. First, about the rain. The rain came, and then the players were brought on to play the game. Do you think were they hurried, or it was in the proper laws?
Sorry, you mean about the rain and the DLS? And
yeah,
the way
what I mean is that some people were saying that it was slippery conditions.
Oh, right. Yeah, look, the outfield it wasn't too bad. It was a bit damp, but it certainly wasn't dangerous at all. It was a little bit slippery, what you expect when there's been a little bit of a rain around, but it certainly wasn't dangerous with there being like big puddles of water everywhere and players slipping over because of the mud. Like when there is a bit of rain around, but also the thing is, like, the ground, it did dry pretty quickly, but there's so many times, whether that's in the IPL or other times in different parts of the world, you play on grounds that have got a lot of dew, which would have been very similar to the conditions, the wet conditions in Adelaide after that rain sort of blew in. So yeah, it wasn't that big of an issue because of the games where there's a lot of dew around, and that becomes very slippery as well.
So mainly it was more dangerous for the fielding side than the batting side, I would presume.
Well, it is. Well, it's certainly more. It's certainly more challenging for the fielding side when the outfield's pretty slippery. There's no doubt. But again, everyone's aware of playing in slippery conditions. Again, it wasn't dangerous. It was just slippery because there'd been a little bit of rain around. But it's certainly in the favour of the batting team for sure. When the conditions are a bit damp, especially batting second, you know what your target is. The bowlers, even the fast bowlers, they're bringing moisture onto the wicket where they're landing as well, so that their front foot becomes slippery. The ball becomes slippery because it becomes like a bowling with a cake of soap, and the fielders don't have as much confidence in the field to be able to really tear around. But everyone's played in those conditions before. They understand exactly how they have to sort of shift gears and what they need to do to be as effective as they possibly can in those conditions.
Related to this match, but first, tomorrow is King Kohli's birthday, so there are a couple of questions regarding him. One is, everybody says when he says it's a no ball, the umpire shakes his head. Does it happen, or it's a no ball, that's why it's given a no ball?
Look, Virat, the one thing that I know about Virat, he's a very fair man. He's a very good man and a very fair man. So if he, like we all do at times, we think a call is a certain call and we commit to it. And there's times where we make that call. And I certainly did at times where I was very, very sure that it was a no ball or it wasn't a wide, and I was very passionate about it. And then you look back at the replay and you go, oof, maybe I was wrong. So we all have our moments, that's for sure. But the one thing I do know about Virat is he's a very fair man, and he'd just be doing it with what he believes is the right thing at that moment in time. And I always love the way Virat wears his emotions, his outward emotions, because everyone can see how desperate he is, how much he wants it, how important the game is. And that's every single game. And that's the thing that I absolutely love about Virat Kohli. So it's a great thing. It's great theatre.
Brilliant. And then there was something about the fake throw. I have never understood about this. In fact, I never saw it on TV. Did you see it on TV that day or while doing commentary?
Well, I watched it. I think now that you mentioned that, I remember seeing some. I wasn't on commentary, but I remember seeing something like that. But those.
Will you look too much into it? Because I'm not sure whether.
No, not at all. Again, Virat's a very fair man. Like, he's not going to be doing anything just to be able to do the wrong thing. So people look into things, can look into a lot of different things.
So my question, I am not sure why ICC has brought this rule. I think it is street smartness, even if you're doing it. It's just that you're showing that you're throwing the ball and somebody else is having the ball. So that's game awareness or smartness. Would you put it that way? Or will you call it fake?
Look, there has been a rule that has been in place around fake diving, as in sort of fielders diving in front of the ball. So there's someone coming in from who's in the ring, running out to the fence to try and cut down the ball, and the fielder from the boundaries running in, and the fielder sort of dives across in front of the ball, so the batter actually can't see where the ball is. So the ICC have certainly cracked down on that, because that person's cutting down your vision as a batter to be able to see where the ball is to make a judgment on whether you should run again or not. So I know the ICC have cracked down on that, and that's very fair. When it comes to pretending to throw or not, in the end, I don't think, with what I saw, I was at a different angle. But with what I saw, Virat wasn't getting in the way of the ball to be able to sort of cover the ball so the batters couldn't see. He was a fair way out of the line of the ball, where the batsman was sort of running between wickets anyway. So I certainly didn't think much of it at all. And
one message for Virat, his birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday. We're all getting older, but it's just another great year for the great man, and to be able to see him celebrating his birthday with these amazing performances and the love that he's got around him as well, with what he's just been able to continue to turn on. Happy birthday.
And you were spot on when you said KL Rahul is going to fire at Adelaide. So I became a millionaire.
Yeah, KL. The wickets that have been batting on have been very challenging, and have been for every opening batsman. So, and knowing that it just took him a couple overs to be able to find the rhythm of the pitch and work out exactly what that pitch was going to do in Adelaide. He played and missed in the first couple of overs. Once he found the rhythm and how the ball was going to react off the wicket, then he let loose. And it's the shots he plays, as he does. It's as good as you can watch anywhere in the world that's ever been when he's batting like that. The freedom that he has and all the scoring options that he has off any ball that a bowler bowls is just something. It's something beautiful to behold and watch. So I knew the Adelaide conditions was going to lick his lips once he got through that new ball. And Taskin Ahmed bowled a beautiful first couple of overs as well. So he challenged him out, but he was able to get through it. And then some of those shots, it's ridiculous batting. It's awesome.
So next time, guys, if you want to know which guy is going to score at which ground, Shane Sen is the man. He gets everything right. All right. Now, coming to the other group, it's still tied. We have South Africa play Netherlands. Pakistan obviously has to beat Bangladesh, and then hope the other matches also go in their favor. That is India versus Zimbabwe. So your two teams from that group as of now.
For me, it is the two teams are South Africa and India. It's going to be very hard for Pakistan to be able to make it through. They're going to have a lot of things that fall their way. It was awesome to be able to see Pakistan play the brand of cricket that they did last night. That was very special to watch. The way Iftikhar and Shadab Khan came in and just took the game on. No fear. and just really the South Africans were shell shocked because they hadn't had that during the tournament, really, to that point where someone really come in and just taken the game on and taken it away from him. So that was incredible. And then Shadab Khan, the way he bowled, a couple of really crucial wickets as the rain was falling. So it's unfortunate that Pakistan weren't able to put those performances together at crucial times at the start of the tournament. But they did. That was a great game of cricket. But so for me, South Africa is starting to get the wobbles a little bit, which is interesting considering how well they started the tournament. They were so dominant right at the start, but now, and this is always my concern with South Africa and knockout games, it's not their strength in ICC events, and they're starting to just show a few signs that those wobbles might be occurring again. Hopefully not, because they've got a gun team.
I want to ask you then my last question. I wanted to ask you two questions, but I'll leave that question to some other time. If Australia qualifies, I'll definitely ask you.
Yeah.
Who's going to win the World Cup?
Oh, that's a great
You
question.
have 6 teams to take
Yeah,
it
I know.
if they have to qualify. Your gut.
Jeez. Well, at the start of the tournament, after the first couple of games, I would have said New Zealand, how dominant they were. They've been like good. They've still been good. No, it's hard. India have definitely come back as well. So yeah, I'm hedging my bets because it's hard. It's hard to know exactly.
But if you had to pick, your heart has to pick one.
Yeah, the two standout teams for me in each group is India, the way they've been playing, and they're moving in that direction, whereas South Africa is starting to move off, and New Zealand. England, they're gonna things are gonna have to come together. They haven't been able to penetrate as much and as consistent as I thought they were going to. But they do have the world-class match winners to be able to win. But well, I don't want England to make it because I want Australia to make it. So that's why I'm going that route. Whether there's a rhyme or reason to it, I don't care.
I love this. And I hope Australia makes it. I hope Pakistan makes it. And I hope India makes it. And the fourth team is already New Zealand. And then I'm not going to say what I want to hear.
Yeah.
You want Australia in the finals and the world wants India, Pakistan in the finals. So I'll leave that for the next moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be a great result.
Pardon?
That would be a great result for sure.
Oh,
those 4 teams are in there. So
yes, because you have already told, Australia is not playing that great cricket. So let them come to the semi-final and get knocked out.
Yeah, that's it.
Anyway, we'll have to wait and watch. Fantastic talking with you, Otto, as always. Take a good night's rest. And we hope tomorrow's results gets in your favor. The guys like Rajapaksha fire and the spinners like Hasranga and the other spinner, Tiksana gets through England.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Good night. Sleep well.
Good on you. Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
Good on you, mate.
Bye-bye.